Yeah, hello together.
Hello together.
Hi, Klaus.
Hello, Robert. Sorry, we have a little delay with our preparation of our cameras. Yes, today
we have an interesting topic. It's about luminaire placing. So how to place, locate luminaires into the scenes.
Yes.
So it's a bit of more a practical approach. So we will show what is possible, and there's a lot of possible. Sounds a bit like boring that it's just luminaire placement, but there's a lot of stuff which you can do by placing luminaires. So we can fill completely up this episode just with luminaire placement. And I'm sure that you will find something which you does not know right now. So after the episode,
hopefully,
yeah. So even IS has not known everything which is possible. Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe we can jump into it.
Yes, we can start.
So we show a lot of ReluxDesktop today. So it's about ReluxDesktop and how to place luminaires in desktop, of course. And this means we will see a lot of desktop today and just going into it and demonstrate what is possible. Yeah.
Okay, so I will show the screen and
jumping into desktop.
And jumping. Sorry.
We need to end the presentation. Yes.
Sorry. Okay, we have prepared a small project, and here in the beginning we have here a standard room, simple room. It's a little bit L-shaped because some points we want to show. We need a little bit of more polygonal room, not only a simple rectangular room. And we have also prepared to select some luminaires already. And the first thing what we want to start is to show the handling of single luminaires. And there is one point, we guess not everybody of you will know it, about the difference between a complex luminaire and a simple luminaire.
So a luminaire with geometry and without geometry.
And I will just jump into our product selection, and there we have the list, and so that you can see the a picture about of this luminaire. And in the beginning, we want to show you this projector luminaire, which is in the one case modeled as a 3D geometry with some internal rotation axis, and in comparison to the same luminaire with the same LDC, but you will see it here in the front. This has just a simple geometry, and here in this case we have a complex geometry where the complete geometry is split in parts.
Yeah. So the simple geometry you get if you just import an Eulenblatt file or an IS file, and you end up with a simple cube box or a cylinder, and there's no more information on the geometry. But the complex geometry, the manufacturers has really created a 3D model out of the luminaire with a bit of effort. And with this complex geometry, we can simulate the joints and the moving parts on the luminaire quite well. And this is going to be demonstrated.
Yes, and here in the beginning, I have now placed the simple geometry. Here we have just the simple cube. And if I place the complex geometry, and I have to zoom a little bit closer down, you will see that you have all this the structure of the luminaire with this rotation arm and the head of the luminaire where the LDC is placed. Both has the same LDC, but you will see that there may be in some situations you will have a little bit. In principle, you have the same results, but there may be a little bit a small difference when you take a look to. I will switch to the wireframe view so that we can see the position. Both luminaires are placed on the ceiling, but you will see that now we have a little bit of difference in the place where what we call the LDC point from where the LDC is placed. It may a little bit a difference between if we are working with a high detailed or with a detailed geometry or not with a detailed geometry.
Yeah. Also, by detailing the geometry, the manufacturer can really point where the LDC is located on on an Olymdat file, it's just not possible, or an IES file, it's not possible to locate the LDC spot. So you literally have just this LDC spot, the origin of the photometrics in this simple models.
Yeah. And I will switch back to from the wireframe view. And when we click on a luminaire, both luminaires have their mounting point, which is placed here in the top of the luminaire. And you can also here move these luminaires around in the way, I guess, everybody in RELUX or is a little bit familiar with RELUX knows how this works. But the difference is the rotation point. Also, this is the mounting point is also the rotation point for the geometry by itself, for the simple geometry as well as for the complex geometry or the complete geometry. But if we go to the adjustment, there is then at that point starts the difference. So I will go to use our aiming tool for adjustment, and we'll start with the simple luminaire, and I adjust now the luminaire here to this picture, for example. And now we will see that also the mounting point is the rotation point of the for adjusting the luminaire, because there's no more information about it. And in difference, when we switch to this complex luminaire, you will see that the mounting part of the luminaire is still adjusted to the to the styling, and all the other adjustment rotations are made by using this arm correctly as using this the head of the luminaire. And if we click here to this inner parts of the luminaire, we can open it here and click to the inner parts. Then we will see the freeness or the axis where these inner parts are rotatable for this luminaire. We will see here this blue disc for the rotation, and we will see when we click to the arm the green one, which is responsible for the tiled.
Mm-hmm. And this is what the manufacturer is setting by creating this geometry. The manufacturer is telling the application this axis are possible to rotate, and this axis not. And this is just delivered in the format WRF or in the proper database in ReluxNet or on GLDF. So this is the formats which makes this possible. But of course, the manufacturer needs to create this geometry.
And therefore, you must a little bit careful when you have such a complex luminaire. And I click now here to the top. So then this rotation in the properties, when you want to set the settungs manually, then you have here the rotation, which is responsible for the luminaire by itself, for the mounting position. So for example, if you want to place it along a wall and you switch here to 90 degrees, then it will mean that you moving this part. But if you want to adjust the luminaires for in the sense of beaming to any object or outdoor sports lighting, flood lighting, all these points, then you will also find here under the adjustment the orientation, and there you will have the rotation, which is, I will take it a little bit closer so that we can see it a little bit better. We have here the rotation angle. Let's switch it here. You will see that it's just moving, rotating this arm, and for the tiled angle, we have switched it to 0, so then it's here. Then it is flat, or if you have then here, for example, 30 degrees, then you have here the tiled angle of this luminaire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we have also a new table below the CAD view called luminaires or luminaire selection, and then we can also do this in this table view. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. This is the next thing. We have the possibility. This is also new or relatively new. Maybe somebody has not seen it. We have here the possibility to switch on this luminaire list. And in the luminaire list, you have here the possibility, you can adjust, if it is interesting more, you have also here the possibility to adjust the rotation here. And if you then have a list, so we have now at the moment just one luminaire listed, but if I go to the here to my complete, I can see here the complete list, and I'll be able to also to change here, for example, the tile here in this list. It is not just for information, it is also possible to make here all the adjustments in the list. And not only for the orientation and the aiming, you have also the possibility for the mounting rotation and also the positioning for the position. Also, it is interesting, you can here take a look to the mounting center. So this is especially important when you're working in exterior scenes or something like that. So you can control it. If you don't need it or if you don't want it, you can switch this not needed informations off by using here these icons in the top of this luminaire list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But most of the time you will not put effort to single luminaire. So potentially, of course, you can also copy and paste single luminaires in order to have multiple luminaires. Most of the rooms, of course, needs more than one luminaire, okay, so you need to arrange this, and it's really hard by manualing single luminaires to make them align to something. So I guess the most of you will use something like in field arrangement or line arrangement. So we have arrangements which helps you to group luminaires in arrangements in some other geometry groups, and this has also properties which you can change and select, and this is, I guess, the main part of placing luminaires.
Yeah, really very often. And therefore, the simplest way to go into, for example, in a field placement is to go to the luminaires, and I will now use here a suspended luminaire. You make a right click on the luminaire type you want to place, and then you choose, for example, field or row or the other options, but we will start with the field. I guess this is the most important. Yeah. And then you pick 2 points for your rectangular area where you want to have to place this field. Mm-hmm. After the second click, you have the options to say how many luminaires in the X or in the epsilon direction you want to place. For example, I will use here 5, 4. Oh, sorry, 4. So we have a difference in between. And here you have also the option for the room orientated. This will take care that if you have a space to the border, half of the distance between the luminaires.
We call this a half. So the distance between the luminaires is the half to the border. Yeah, to the wall. So and this is in good and homogeneous arrangement of luminaires, because if you arrange without this option, you end up on the wall. But of course, you can also make this rectangle a bit of smaller. Depends on how you want to place it. I can just recommend make it room orientated. Pick the complete room. This a half grid is really great. It's also the same stuff where you place measurement points. It's also a half. This is the same methodology to placing grids in rooms.
Yes, and afterwards you will get here in the scene bar, you will get this field. If you open it, you will see all the list of the placed luminaires where you can take information where they are placed or something like that. But here, if you select the field, you have here a little bit down all the parameters which are used for creating this field at the moment, and you have here the possibility to set nearly everything which is possible in the context of these field groups. We know a little bit that this can be optimized, so this to list all these parameters inside of this kind of property list is a little bit.
You need to give it a try, and you need to get experience on this. So in the past, on the ReLux Suite years, we had some kind of pictures. So by changing the luminaire arrangement, you had an extra window, an extra pop-up dialog just to make these adjustments. So we skipped this in order to be directly on the user interface, more direct. But this means all the options you can set are now in the properties list. So this properties list is really, really powerful. You can do a lot here. You can rotate a complete field. You can rotate the single luminaires in each direction. Klaus is showing that we just make an
set-based rotation, for example, just that you can see. So you have a 45-degree rotation, which is typically it's not so useful. You will have mostly here
0 or
90 degrees, so that you have another direction.
Yeah.
You can also adjust the number of luminaires in your
in this field.
In this field that you have, for example, just here, 4 to 4, or whatever you want or whatever you need.
Also quite powerful is that you can set types of this parameters. We have in X and in Y a lot of parameters, and you can fix down quantity, for example, or distance, and you can fix this down. Also the offset, you can fix this down or let it float automatically. This means you can change the numbers of luminaires as we have seen right now, but with a flexible distance. But you can also fix it down and have a fixed distance, and by changing the amount of luminaires, you having a bigger grid of luminaires, and vice versa. So it's possible to do what you want. You can say, okay, make a distance to 0 and change the amount of luminaires to fill up the rest of the room, or not. Then you have just a smaller field. So there's a lot of options. I guess almost everything you can do, but you need to understand these fields, and this works the best if you give it a try and play your way around it and check what means automatically, manually on this. And
you can here switch between both
So this allows you to fix down, and we have a lot of settings, and it's a bit of too much for now. In the past, we had a nice, let's say, overview picture of how it will behave if you switch this value. Also, this a half grid is also where described in the past, but this is now more direct. You can jump into it, but you need to know what you're doing by jumping into these properties.
Okay, and also a very small feature, but maybe very helpful, especially when you're working with complex room forms or more complex room forms. Oh, sorry, I want to place a new one. I will now use again, but now this, let's make a try to this one, the tiling. For example, if I make my square for my field larger than here as the room is, we'll now make 6 to 6. I will now get placed, so this is a little bit unlucky with 6, let's make 5. And where is the other? Also 5 in this direction. And we have now placed the luminaires in the square, but some of these luminaires are now outside of the room. But we have now the possibility here to set the option for to delete outside, and in this case it will be placed inside now, only the luminaires inside of the room. This is very helpful if you have rooms which has not a rectangular shape, which has polygonal shapes, or in my simple example here, an L-shaped room. You have here also the possibility to use this checkerboard, and you can switch between black and white, this from the chessboard, a little bit inspired.
Yeah, here it's, in the properties also maybe to name it useful if you have continuous line arrangements, that you can switch the distance between luminaires to 0, that you have really a continuous line arrangement in one of the orientations, not in both, of course. Then you would have just a complete stack of luminaires, but to having in mostly the X direction, the distance of 0, you have something like a continuous line arrangement. And also if you have grid ceilings, so if you have 600 by 600 grid ceilings, also makes sense to put the 600 in your grid arrangement of the luminaires into it, that you have really the offset, the distance between the luminaires by 600, or a multiplier of 600 to put this in. This will also help a lot. You've seen this options in the EasyLux. In the EasyLux we have on the top also this basically arrangement types of luminaires for grid ceilings, for example.
Okay, and it is also possible not only to make one group, you can also make group from groups, and this gives you some interesting opportunities. So let me make one. No, I want to use also this round one. This is a little bit simpler. I will make here a row a little bit outside here. And let's make here now 5 luminaires.
So row is quite the same.
It's a little bit too much. Let's like 4.
Yeah.
This is better. I switch off a little bit this one, so that we have just this. So this is my basic group. It's a row just with 4 luminaires, but now I'm also able, not only by clicking here on the top and make the right click to create a field, I can also make a field by clicking any kind of object which is in the scene bar. It may also a luminaire, but also a group or a cube or anything else, and then create group. And here we can, for example, I will now choose this circle. And if I now push a circle and I say I want to have 5, then we will have here this a circle of rows. Let's make a little bit smaller. So that is this, and
so you can arrange arrangements, and you can also arrange arrangements of arrangements.
And then we make the next arrangement. We say we want to have a field. For this with 3 to 3, then we will have here a field of cycled rows.
It's also possible to explode these groups again. So if you need to dig down to the single luminaires, it's also possible. But then you, of course, you lost your properties of the complete field arrangements. And yeah, I guess the use cases are a bit of thin on this, but at least it's possible. And you have to have it in the background, in the mind that it's possible.
That it is possible, yes.
Yeah. Of course. Good. Let's maybe go outdoor.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Some other possibilities for creating groups is for that I will switch into an exterior scene. We have here this small communal sports area with here at the side there is a footpath or a bicycle with a small path. And for this, and first I will switch off this grid. It's a little bit disturbs me a little bit. And now we have the possibility to placing luminaires above a row, above the path. And for that, I have to first create a path. There are multiple options to create a path. One is to use this general road. It's called general road, but you can also use this. This is simply a measuring surface, which is possible to be placed in the way I will show you here at the moment by clicking here along my path, my way. I make it a little bit rough to be fast. Here we will see this from Google Earth a little bit in the woods, and then finalize this here. Then I press enter, and now I can scale the width of this measuring surface. You can use this option also in other conditions, not only in exterior for roads or ways or something like that, but it is mainly designed for this possibility, but it can also be used in several situations. It can also be used for creating a measuring surface, not by drawing 4 points, a rectangular, and scaling a rectangle. You can also use it, for example, by clicking here, making just 2 clicks, return, and then put to create a simple rectangular surface.
It's a normal measuring surface.
It's a normal measuring surface. But now interesting is here on this point on my. Let's switch to the 3D. So here to this way, we have now the possibility to go to our projects, place luminaires. We have here prepared such one of this polar luminaire. Right click, row over path, and then you will have this question mark. And by selecting this question mark, you select the path, and then afterwards you will have here the possibility to place here the luminaires along this way.
With a fixed distance between them.
With a fixed distance between them. But you can change this here very simply. So if I say I want to have it every 5 meters, you will get it here every 5 meters.
If you do the same automatic manually fixation, you can also tell how many luminaires you want to have, and then the distance is flexible in a way, or vice versa.
Let's make a short calculation.
Now it's running.
Now it's running on our second screen, and now we have the result. And I will now hide this background so that we can see a little bit, that you can see here the effect of this. I have a little bit, let's reduce a little so that we can see now the positions of this luminaire. And so this is a very useful way. We talked a little bit this morning about adding some help grid lines, not so that you don't necessarily need to draw this measuring surface, or you can also use the how it is called, Trennwand in German.
The inner wall.
The inner wall.
There's a wall tool which also is polygonal.
So example,
you can also use this
partition wall, which is also can be used for this. Maybe you can use it, draw it for the construction, afterwards delete it if you need a pass. But for the future, we will think about to have a special additional helping tool for this
polygonal stuff.
For this
also lines.
For these lines.
So today there's no helping line at all existing in RELUX. Of course, you can use objects, cubes, etc., polygonal objects. Yeah.
So, and the next, what we want to show you is the possibility of the mirroring group. So we have also a mirroring group, and for this effect, so for example, if I want to place here in the on the sports field luminaires, and I select here one of these outdoor floodlight, right click, I go to mirror, choose then the 4 corners, because I want in this place I want to have on each corner of the football field a luminaire placed. And you have seen in the middle and the center of this group this line, these are the mirror axes. And we have now the possibility also, for example, for adjusting these luminaires here synchronously into the things. Or just unlucky, should be a little bit higher for a sports ground. Mm-hmm. Also, you have the possibility, this must not only be made for 4 corners, we have also the possibility to make this just to single axis. Let me show it. So I go back to my luminaires, repeat this command, and will now place starting from here to this point on the same line. And here we have now the possibility to switch up, because in this example, I just want to have a mirroring. I have now 4 luminaires in my group, still as in the group before. But if I now can switch off, I don't want to mirror around the x-axis, and I want also not on the x-epsilon axis. I just want the x, so that we have on the left and on the right side. Let me switch to this a little bit again, and also this to a useful height of, say, 8 meters. And then we have here also the possibility to make here the adjustment of this mirror group. So this mirroring feature, I showed it here now in the sports place, but it is also useful, sometimes helpful and useful in some situations, in indoor situations and so on.
Yeah, mainly on sports. So mirroring, the main use case is sports, to make an area homogeneous bright. Yes. You need to have a mirrored situation of the luminaires to make it really, yeah, uniform.
If you want to adjust afterwards, after you have placed these groups, for example, here for example, here the row or something like that, and you want to modify the luminaires manually, then you have the possibility to break the groups or change it into a free group. Into a free group has the advantage they are still in a group, so they are ordered. You will find it under one node in the scene tree, but you have the freedoms to change the luminaires afterwards. Then you have to make the partition singular selectable, and then you can here, let's switch down here to can then, for example, make manually modifications in your if the luminaires are not following the rules given by the field group or row group or whatever you have chosen before. And if you break it completely into break the group, then you will have afterwards single luminaires in your project, in your scene tree. So this is not everything what we can do, but it's everything what we can show in our time period we have actually. And we will now see if we have some questions.
Yeah, let's jump into the questions. Go to meeting.
We have only one question, but this question is
no,
sorry, we have some more.
Is it possible to set the offset to a group? Is it possible to set the offset of a group default to 0?
Yes, if you not choose the option room distance, then you will have the first position of the luminaire to where you put the places of your field.
Mm-hmm.
This is the difference by the room adjusted or not. The room adjusted makes the shift, edits the offset. You have also the possibility to change the offset manually.
Mm-hmm.
So not only that you have this automatic calculation, just the half of the distance, so that you have a fixed offset from, for example, from a wall or for things like that. And also you have the possibility to set it to 0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is the tick on the amount of luminaires in X and Y. Is it possible to make it possible to grip to AutoCAD blocks? I guess it's snap. It snaps to AutoCAD. There is an AutoCAD snapping, but I'm not sure if the blocks are snapped.
They should also be snapped, but we must take a. I must take a look. I must take a look on it.
Yeah. So there's in principle there's an CAD snap. It's also called CAD snap on the ribbon, on the start ribbon, and yeah, depends on the block. So maybe it's too deep into a block. I don't know. Maybe it makes sense to explode the blocks in AutoCAD. Then in one instance it will be available. But yeah, this is down to the AutoCAD file. In general, yes, we have CAD snaps. I also experienced delay in calculations.
Yes, so
maybe I've also go to meeting running.
I guess not, but
so this specific delay which we have seen by this auto calculation is specific to go to. We have the same computer switched on and switched off go to, and then it works. Update to the latest version also helps. So potentially, because this was my first impression. Okay, we need to update here on this, because from time to time we have strange issues, but we will fixed. The most are fixed in the latest version. So the rest is up to the support. So if you're still facing delays, then send us an email.
Then does mirroring also work for indoor? Yes, of course, it works also for indoor.
If you have a use case, so indoor sports, for example, this is great.
Or also if you want to mirror, for example, to
desks.
Yes, on two sides or something. But it works also in indoor. It's not a thing.
Maybe
then manually changing the offset is a lot of clicks. Here you are right. This is one of the points where I must say, okay, here we have some potential to optimize these tools to make it more efficient and more easy to handle it. We know that this is a little bit more complex.
Yeah.
The problem is a little bit about this grouping features is it has a lot to do with the view of sight. We have some users, they have a special use case and they want to have the tool in this way. And we have other users, they have a little bit a different use case and they need a little bit, just a little bit, but a different tool. And for that, you have a lot of possibilities and ways to create groups or modifying groups, and that makes it a little bit complicated to have to satisfy everybody of the users
with simple clicks. Yeah.
Cut snaps are mostly not to blocks. I will test it, and I also want to ask if you have a special DVG file where you say, why does it not work here? please send it to support@relux, and we will take a look in it, and we will take a look why it not works in this situation.
Yeah.
The problem is here a little bit. There is a lot of difference when you say we have a DVG, but what is inside of the DVG? There are a lot of differences of possibilities, and that makes a little bit difficult for us to handle every situations.
But I can imagine that there is an issue with but it's also not easy to fix for us. It's not easy just to say, okay, allow this on blocks, because in a DWG file, it could be also quite complicated. So from my lighting design experience, I always go into the CAD world and make positioning, scaling, deleting of objects which I do not want to, the rotation, and also exploding blocks in order to acquire them. And in the old times, in other applications, it was also needed to convert the text or to tweet the text in order to see the text. But this is not needed anymore. But this makes the life much more easier in RELUX if you can prepare. But of course, you need to have an AutoCAD and in the skills. But yeah, blocks can be. I can assume. I can really understand that this technically maybe because it's really wrapped into something else and it must not come to the surface potentially. Maybe sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay. Can a design be saved in PDF format?
I guess he will not mean that he wants that. It is possible to make the printout into a PDF, of course, if you simply have installed a PDF printer.
Yeah, with a PDF printer, exactly.
Yes, but I guess you want to have something similar like a DVG, but as PDF, just the scheme.
It's possible with another tool. So you can store the DWG file. You can export in CAD draft, but then you need a CAD application in order to print it, to plot it into an.
For example, you can use AutoCAD, and I guess also AutoCAD has some free tools. There was in the past a true DVG tool, which is free of Office.
I'm not sure if it's still there.
Okay.
True DVG.
Yes, it was just a viewer, but it has the possibility to switching the layers, and it has the possibility to plot, and it has also the possibility to plot a PDF from the. It
10 years ago. Yeah.
It was 10 years ago.
maybe. I'm not sure. I've long times not seen two DVD. But there are tons of CAD applications out there. Must not be AutoCAD, but in AutoCAD you have an built-in PDF plotter. Which is really handy, I have to say. But you can also choose another CAD application in order to get it converted or plotted into a PDF file. And also in ReluxDesktop, there's not an PDF printout. We have an print output and with this printer symbol. But here you need a PDF printer in order to have a PDF out of it. So it's a printing tool where you can also print into a PDF. But RELUX comes without an PDF printer. So you need to install, and there's a lot of open source stuff out there. Also, Microsoft Office has one PDF printer, which you can also use for this. And there are also free of charge applications in order to allow PDF printing.
I guess actually in Windows you have by default a Windows to PDF driver all the time installed in nearly every Windows installation.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no more questions. Also, we're running a little bit out of time.
Good timing. Good amount of questions for our timing. Thanks.
Yes. Today was our 36th.
Yeah, 36th episode.
Which means we are approximately doing this now since for approximately 3 years.
Yeah.
And our next episode will be
on the 29th of August, so late August, also on Thursday, same time slots. And the topic is about online calculation tools. We have a bunch of online calculation tools which you want to show, to present what is possible there, what you can do online with calculation stuff from us. Good.
Yeah, so that's
thanks much.
All for today. Hope you see you next time, and have a good day.
Have a nice August. See you.